Yeah. Thank you.
I need to learn how to use Zoom too. I'm talking on mute. All right, thank you, Miss Hughes. Next, we'll go to Miss Jennifer. How are you doing, Miss Jennifer?
Hey, Chad. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Jennifer Lumpkin. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the founder and principal of My Grow Connect. I'm currently managing a research study for OFA and working on a collaborative grant as well for the USDA. And my mission is to support community-based food systems through research, convening, and organizing. So happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you. Coming straight out of Cleveland too. Is that right? All right.
Yes, right.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Next we have, I want to make sure I get this right. Celeste Tracy. Please don't beat me up if I got that wrong. Get me together. Miss Celeste.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I am taking people to vote, but Celeste Treese, you're almost right.
Thank you.
Celeste Treese. I'm based out of Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm one of the founders of Ag Noir, which is a BIPOC association for urban farmers. And the purpose is to create spaces for lobbying, networking, and a resource hub to scale our urban farmers up to be in the supply chain. So, and I think Miss Walker's there. I love Miss Walker. Hello, Miss Walker. I know she's in the room. And thanks, Chad, for the recommendation from last meeting, because when I came to Columbus, I went to the vegan place and it was amazing.
Thank you so much. That's what we're eating right now. So thank you for that. All right. Next, we will move to Lavonda. How you doing, Lavonda?
Hello, my name is Lavonda Harrington. I describe myself as a backyard gardener and an aspiring urban farmer. This is my first meeting. I just heard about you guys and I'm excited to be here.
Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you joining us and contributing, as well as making sure that we give you something out of this. So that's very important to us. All right, Mr. AJ Boyce, how you doing, King? Talk to us.
Hello, my name is AJ Boyce. I am a former farmer, forever gardener, and currently I'm the Agriculture Conservation Coordinator for the Nature Conservancy in Ohio. A lot of our missions are focusing on soil and nutrient health for the sake of environment. I want to make sure that we always acknowledge that urban solutions are a really big part of that problem, and that we can really make them a really integral part of environmental conservation, to try to help and deliver resources however I can.
Thank you so much. You know, one thing that I will always say is that I always find myself, this is a special group of people. The work that we're doing is like trying to fill the ocean with a teaspoon. And so every time you hear somebody's story and why they're doing it, you know, it really, for me, it touches me. So just thank you all so far. All right, next is Mr. Damon Nabrit. Now this guy's, in my opinion, he's a genius. His whole family is amazing. But Mr. Nabrit, talk to us.
Well, that's very kind of you, sir. Good afternoon. I'm Damon Nabrit in Columbus, Ohio. Right now I'm in Delaware. I am a urban gardener. I'm a co-manager of the Charles Madison Nabrit Memorial Garden. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to get out of here fairly early, but I wanted to stop in because this is right up my alley, and anything I can do to be of support. My primary role is garden technology. So looking forward to this meeting.
And just to let you all know, this man, this beautiful human being, they actually have a robot that's in their garden and actually plants and harvests their crops. And they partner with Ohio State University to do this. So whenever you get a chance, please go check out their garden. We'll make sure that we put contact information in here, but it's a great field trip. It's a great experience. And you want to get to know who this whole family is, because from his mother to his brother, they're just phenomenal family. So make sure you tap into the neighbors. All right, moving right along. So who else do we have on here? Who haven't I got? Miss Lexi Tyndall. Did I say it? Give me together. Give me together.
You did say it right. I am
right.
Lexi Tyndall. I'm the program manager at Center for Healthy Weight and Nutrition at Nationwide Children's Hospital. And Miss Latoya had sent me all the information you guys are doing. And so this is my first meeting, but I thank you guys for the invite. And I think one of my colleagues may be in person, Miss Renee. And so look forward just to learning all about the work you guys are doing, and seeing maybe how we can kind of continue to support your mission here at the hospital.
All right, thank you so very much. Who else is on here that I did not catch? Everybody, did everybody get caught? All right, very good. So now we'll go into the room, starting with you. We'll just pass the computer along and introduce yourself.
Hi there, I'm Renee Orozco with the Center for Healthy Weight and Nutrition. We've seen a dramatic increase in childhood obesity and all of the complex disorders that come along with obesity. And this mission feels like it is apt to get people back to understanding where we came from and the food that we ate and how important it is.
Oh, thank you. What's your name again?
Renee.
Renee, that's my
Hello, I'm Sean McKay, and I'm the Growing the Green Coordinator at Franklin Park Conservatory. I just want to be here as a resource for anyone to utilize, especially in urban agriculture.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Kylie. I am with Aetna as the outreach coordinator for Medicare and Medicaid. So my goal is to go out there and reach out to our seniors or anyone that has been disabled for more than 2 years and just show them what benefits they are entitled to. And then also finding other resources to help them know what's going on. So.
Hello, my name is Michael Ann Cox. I am with Aetna. I am in community development. I work with our members. We have approximately 17,000 members in Central Ohio. I work to bring them resources as well as connect with the resources that help them live successfully in their lives. They're primarily seniors that, it's the exact opposite of what she does, kind of. I work with the seniors that are over the age of 65 who've been on disability for at least 24 months. And again, just trying to provide them those resources and connect with those resources to help them live successfully.
Hi, I'm August Taylor. I'm with OFA, Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association. Also MAG, the Maroon Arts Group. So with MAG, I manage their community garden over on 17th and Mount Vernon. It's the box park. And then with OFA, I also am in the realm of gathering resources for people. So I mostly work with farmers of color, primarily Black farmers in Ohio. And that's kind of how I got into working with Chad.
Thank you. Julia Lynn Walker, Bronzeville Growers Market, Bronzeville Agri Academy, and the Bronzeville Urban Growers. For those in the room, I put the website up, so everything is there. Yes, so my focus is food sovereignty, and my community of practice is the Near East Side of Columbus. And with Chad and Assad, we started this coalition, and our main focus is the implementation of our post-secondary certification in urban agriculture that will start in March.
Hello, my name is Tracy Harris. I am with Central Community House. I'm the home health navigator for our seniors. And so I work primarily with the east side and southeast side with our residents that are 60 and older and help them maintain resources to keep them stable in their homes as long as possible. Thank you.
Appreciate that. And last but not least.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Karen Dawson. I'm with CareSource. I am the community marketing representative for the north side of Columbus. I work with the, actually all the Medicaid, Marketplace, Medicare Advantage programs in the state. So this is my first meeting and I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
All right, so now that we all know who each other are, our goal is to kind of go through our agenda. And once again, like I always say, this is a working committee, so your voice is expected to be heard. Before we get into this, for those that may not know, I wanted to give a little bit background on National Center for Urban Solutions. So the National Center for Urban Solutions is an agency that really focuses in on the culture of Black people, people of color. Our focus areas Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. How many we need? Thank you, thank you, thank you. Here we go. I'm still passing out agendas. Sorry about that. But NCUS has been created to really address the lifestyle needs of the urban community. And so we focus in on education, which means we own and operate charter schools here in Columbus, Ohio, and in Youngstown with a focus on Black boys and girls. We teach things like robotics, artificial intelligence, coding. And so we're really a technology-driven school to really help our students get ready for the new workforce that now is here. But we also focus on health and wellness. A lot of people know us through the African American Male Wellness 5K walk that takes place in front of Children's Hospital. We're proud to say that we had over 30,000 people in this past year's attendance. And so that's the audience that we want to tap into to make them interested in agriculture. And then we also focus on workforce development. We're the only 100% owned African American company that has contracts with Amazon, Google, and Intel as it relates to workforce, getting our community members ready and prepared to go into this technology workforce. So we also specialize in research. We specialize in health screenings, mental wellness, fatherhood, and a bunch more. But the reason why we're here is because I'm sure all of you understand that as it relates to African American community, we are represented at the very bottom of the totem pole when it comes to agriculture, aquaponics, or any of those things associated. So not only that, but a lot of us, as it relates to our culture, really don't understand how to maximize our food resources. A lot of us say that we live in food deserts with food insecurity, but if we're able to educate and teach our community members how to use our local gardens, how to use their backyards, and how to tap into each other as a network, then we would probably get a lot further in life. And so what we're here to do is not only to stimulate those conversations, but provide that access, provide that resource and the connection to an ecosystem that will allow them not only grow their food, but also make money. How do you get that food shipped to the local restaurants, to your local grocery stores, to your local consumer in order to be a part of something that is really untapped for us? And so on our second page of the agenda, you will see where myself, Dr. Walker, Moses Ambrose, and Mark Amante from Central State University have come together to create a curriculum that has now in its final stages of completion to be able to offer to our community members. I'm gonna take some time to let Dr. Walker give us a little overview of what that curriculum is, and then we're gonna get into the things that we need to not only make a successful 10-week course, but also to make a successful ecosystem in order to build the awareness, create pathways, and ultimately breed success within our culinary and community. So, Dr. Walker, if you could tell us a little bit about the overview of our curriculum and where we're going with it and what we need kind of from our community members.
Okay, fine. Thank you very much, Chad. In terms of content, there are two prongs, if you will. One looks specifically, that's that good, specifically at agriculture and what it takes to grow. Because we find people are interested, we have some experience, but really aren't aware of some of the nuts and bolts. And the second part is a business component, because we really want to show folk that, yes, you can grow, but even if you have a space as small as this, you can grow something that can add a financial value to your life. So we want to show that this is really a financial aspect. And because of that, and it is 10 weeks with two prongs, we recognize that it's really not an in-depth course. It's an overview. It's an introduction. And so we want to then show that it is possible to use this course to go on to study at Columbus State, to go on to Ohio State or Central State, and really do an in-depth course in agriculture. So this is not a certification. People say, well, does this allow me to work on a farm? Well, you can work on a farm without it. You know, if you have interest in a strong back, you can still go to work tomorrow. But what it does is provide an overview of the different areas of knowledge, because sometimes people aren't aware that it's math and chemistry and biology and all these other things in addition to what's seen as agriculture. And then third, we wanted to be sure that people understood what it took to be a grower. And so in addition to the classroom and the virtual, because it is a hybrid model where, very familiar with this hybrid business.
Can you talk about the three-pronged approach to education piece too? Because I think that's important. Or for that.
Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so in addition to the classroom and the virtual, because some sessions will be online, some sessions will be in person, we also have an experiential component where each scholar will be required to actually work on site at a garden or a farm or a business that's involved in some food related added value. They could work here at ECDI. They could help a food truck, again, just to understand that value chain in terms of food production. So that is, that'll be required. I was someplace recently talking with folks, and they had a similar model, and they called it shoulder to shoulder. But what we also learned from the discussion, and what we hope that we'll gain from some of the folks, some of you who are part of the meeting, is we are always on the lookout for work sites. And in February, we want to be able to have a discussion with the work site host, so that people understand what is required of them to oversee the students who will be working shoulder to shoulder with them. So if you have a community garden or a farm or any kind of growing environment, and you think that you would like to involve one of these students for a month or two, please let us know, because that is our next step to ensure that we have a breadth of opportunities to offer students, and that we have an opportunity to work with the site managers so that they are clear on what is required of them in terms of the process. So is that what you wanted?
That is what I want. Is there any questions?
Well, then I'll pass this. Okay, any questions online? Okay, yes, Sean.
Is this also similar to what you're doing with the Agri Academy, or just separate?
And kind of repeat the question. So
Yes. Is this the same as the Agri Academy? No. The Agri Academy is either is introductory for really introductory, really beginning farmers. This is for people who already have had the Agri Academy, maybe have grown a garden, and now think, oh, I would really like to do more. I would like to become a farmer. I would like to raise fish, whatever, okay? But it's the next stage. So in terms of our vertical integration, we want to have a pipeline from those who don't have a clue, and we are working with the school systems to introduce to those who've had some experience, to those who've had more experience, and are now thinking, maybe this is something I want to do. The other part of the Agri Academy, which is open to anybody, are the monthly or the bi-monthly lectures in careers, agriculture careers. And the last one was, that's the first Wednesday every other month. And the last one was November 2nd. And we had landscape and large machine operation. And so then the next January will be an overview and environmental sciences. So we've got, and so those sessions have been held at the OSU Community Extension Center. So those show career options, because people don't know career options. The Brownsville Agri Academy online is to introduce people who may not grow or starting to grow. And then the Teach the Grower course is really for people who've decided, I want to do something, I just need to know more about what my options are, as a transition to a more formal 2 or 4 year process. Other questions or comments, anything online? I don't see any. Yes.
This is Jennifer. Hi, how are you? I had a question.
Yes.
Are there any specifications for the type of farm that the scholars would be sort of assigned to, or is there like a meeting process where they would meet the host? Is that what you were referring to, that would happen in February?
All right. In February, we would have a meeting of the for just sort of a all-encompassing term, the managers of the work sites. So the people who would be responsible for overseeing the scholars, so that they are clear on our expectations in terms of being responsible for the scholars on site. Then, once we have a complete list of the work sites, we will introduce that list to the scholars and work out with them who goes where, when. All right. Then we would have an orientation for them as to what is expected, their obligations as part of the worksite experience. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
All right, Morgan Jack.
Yeah, I was curious if there is any kind of curriculum that we as like the farm sites would then be responsible for making sure that the participants, follow through with, if there's a certain level of, oh, we would really like them to see, the utilization of microgreens, or, we'd want to make sure that they have a good understanding of, compost rotating. Is there like a type of outline that we would get?
Exactly. Then that's exactly why we want to meet with the worksite managers, so that we want to understand what it is that you're doing, because we don't want to come in and say, yes, that we want them to understand microgreens and you're not doing microgreens. So we want to work together. And if people say, this is what I'm growing, this is the area I'm working in, then we can look at the curriculum and say, fine, if you go to this work site, this is what you'll be doing. And we understand that, again, not everybody will be doing everything. It's like this jigsaw puzzle. But we want to make sure that there are some basic competencies that are addressed, and then anything in addition that particular work site that is doing differently is fine. I mean, I know Franklinton is doing lettuce. There are a whole bunch of us that can't do lettuce, out of season, what we call out of season. And that would be a unique learning experience to see how Franklinton grows lettuce. And that would be different, but we would still want to know, for instance, how to provide the fabric and to plant through fabric, which Franklinton does to grow the lettuce, but other people may be doing it to grow something else. So that's fine, just as a random example, okay?
No, that's very helpful. Thank you so much.
Others? Okay, good. Right. I'll pass it back.
No, you can stay right there. Stay right there. So moving right along. Here's the hot seat. But Dr. Warren worked today. So moving right along, this is going towards our understanding what needs to be grown for the next season. Now, the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you all is because there is a connection here for what we're growing and what gets harvested. Remember, our goal is to be able to educate our scholars on workforce development, how to take their harvest to market. And so in order to take it to market, we have to make sure that the right things can be sold to market, right? And I know Sean and I had a conversation recently talking about maybe things like mint or lettuce or food items that we know that local restaurants can utilize, that catering companies can utilize, and that food trucks can utilize. And while we're starting right now with fruits and vegetables, that is something that will be helpful to me, because it allows me that when I go meet with these restaurant owners and these catering companies, I can have an idea, one, as far as what series of questions to ask them, but two, what do we think will sell the best from experience in past seasons? So, for example, Sean, we were talking about mints, right? And looking at Mediterranean restaurants and seeing how many we have in Columbus that can use mint. Well, now we have to go find out what type of mint they're interested in purchasing. Well, now we can go to one of our community garden partners and say, hey, let's grow a certain amount of mint so that way we can teach our students how to scale this to the Mediterranean restaurants. So it's going to be important for us to kind of get an idea of what we should grow on a very basic level. Can everybody hear me online?
Yes.
Loud and clear.
Okay, sorry. So the goal is to be able to try to figure out or get some type of idea from our farm and garden managers of what do you think we should grow. I need to make a list of these things. Not saying that we stick to this, but remember, y'all smarter than me. This is what you all do. And so for me to be to play my role well, me understanding what each farm grows and what we should grow to sell will help me then build the right relationships with our catering companies, the restaurants, and even the consumers. Because think about this, we do what we call the Fresh Life Festival every second and fourth Tuesday of the month. We probably give away about 10,000 pounds of food. And so that means that should eventually transition over to selling that food. Because if we're able to take food stamp cards, a lot of those people that have food stamps can now purchase these foods and we can begin to offset. So that's why it's important for me to get feedback from you all on where you think we should be growing. Anybody can start.
Hey, Chad, I was gonna say I did.
Hey, bro.
Can you hear me?
Keep talking, though. Keep talking.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. I was just gonna say, like, my experience with growing mint, because that's one thing that I did try to grow and sell locally to like restaurants. I think it's beneficial to have sort of like a liaison or someone who can be the go-between between like caterers, restaurants, and the people growing, but also just having a menu of the different things that people are already growing so that you're starting off with options versus saying, what should we grow? Because I think it's a challenge sometimes to be able to accumulate a certain volume of any one thing. And so I think maybe a starting point is figuring out what's being grown in a certain volume and having like a menu versus saying, what does this caterer want or what does this restaurant want? And then growing that, because that can change, at any time. And they tend to be really flexible too, when it comes to like flavor profile and things like that. But I would just say like, interactions between the people growing and the folks who would be sourcing from them is really healthy. Like having taste tests with people and like letting them meet each other and letting them meet people who are growing the different things. And just like really having a relationship, because that's the difficult thing to do when you're like a sole grower, doing something on your own, not having the variety and the volume of different things. So I just wanted to provide that input.
That was excellent. Thank you very much for that. So what you're saying is like actually create a menu, which we will get into when we talk about our website and our app, but have some type of menu that allows our potential consumer to look at and choose from. Just like if you go to a restaurant, to the grocery store, we're not telling the grocery store, hey, I want this type of lettuce. We see what's there, we're flexible with what the food options are, and we build around that. So that I appreciate that. That's what we're here for. So thank you for that. Any other points? Any other ideas?
So we just instituted a survey here in Cincinnati to our small businesses as well as our food trucks to understand what their need is and value.
Okay.
So that we can give our growers an idea of what to grow as well.
Okay.
And some of the things that kind of came out of that was like cherry tomatoes. Was a big thing, and different types of oyster mushrooms. To us, it was thinking about, do we want to hit things that are on the top tier market, those special quantity items that we could scale easily to, or do we want to look at, and that's just something that we have been discussing with a lot of our urban farmers, is do they want to scale, what level they want to scale to.
What was that latter part? We kind of cut out.
Oh, sorry. Just giving them the options to understand the quantity purchase orders to know what they want to grow to scale to begin, because everybody can't do the full quantity order sometimes. Like, for example, like tomatoes, cherry tomatoes was a big thing that all of our restaurants needed. And that's something that you can grow in volume, but like, does our farmers want to grow 1,000 of them or 10,000 of them, and kind of figuring out if you're doing some of those specialty items like those oyster mushrooms, some type of variations of cherry tomatoes, and then thinking about the seasons. Do you want to supply this particular thing for this season, summer season or fall season? It's kind of what we were talking about.
Very, very, very helpful. Okay. And go ahead. Yes, please.
And Celeste, as part of this then, did you also, or couldn't we also look at aggregating what's grown? So if the company wants 10,000 pounds or 10,000 whatever, no one farmer has to grow 10,000 pounds. We would work as a collective. So each one can grow 1,000 and that's fine. Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm taking notes.
And hops was the other thing that came up that a lot of people were interested in growing.
Was it?
Because hops, because
Hops?
of all the micro breweries here, just really across our state now in Ohio, thinking about what that looks like as well.
Okay, thank you for that. Appreciate that. All right, so we got some really good feedback on understanding what needs to be grown. I'll take this information and I'll reframe it, and then as we create our overview, it'll be in there. So your input goes into what we will share with funders, how we create our marketing campaigns, all that good stuff. So your input is so important. Going into our next topic is what are items added to the curriculum. So as Dr. Walker spoke about, we have a two-pronged approach to our curriculum. We have the business of agriculture, and then we have the actual agriculture itself. And so right now, what we're going to be adding between now and the next meeting is the cost for the business portion of our curriculum, and then the cost for the agriculture piece. And so Mr. Moses Ambrose from Central State University, he actually teaches business agriculture there. And he has worked with myself and Dr. Walker to help create that portion of it. So we meet with him next, we meet with him next Monday, the 14th, I believe, to talk about the cost for that. You all are all welcome. So you'll see this on the calendar to join those conversations. But that will be to give us a breakdown of how much it will cost for our curriculum to actually function per student.
Yeah. And there was one other component, in that each student would have a startup kit. So we talked about different things, certainly, some serious leather gloves, a couple of books, if we, there's certain books we thought would be, everybody should have in their library. The poncho, a hoe. I mean, we said we would look at a variety of items and then make a decision, what makes most sense for somebody to have as a startup, to help them get off the ground. So we'll be, and because there is we want to get that a sponsor. We want to find somebody to actually pay for that as a separate cost.
Absolutely.
So that's an added expense.
And so on that conversation with Mr. Ambrose, those are the things we're going to be picking apart. So like Celeste, Jennifer, you all will be great to join that conversation just to help us create that list if you're available. If not, when we have our next meeting, I'll have a list and then y'all can add to it just like you're doing now. But that is going to be what we're doing as it relates to what we're adding to the curriculum. And then we're going to do the same thing with Mark and Dr. Walker as far as the agriculture piece. What do we need to make sure that each student has the right equipment? So that's what we'll be adding. And if you want to be a part of that conversation, please let me know so I can add you to the calendar invite. Any questions around curriculum? We're going to keep moving. All right. It's very important that we note today that today is our Fresh Life Festival, which is held every second and fourth Wednesday or Tuesday of the month. We do this on Hamilton Road, South Hamilton Road. Let me get the actual address for you real quick. And this is a great opportunity for you all to participate as a vendor, as a volunteer, or as a sponsor. And so, Ms. Latoya, if you don't mind kind of introducing yourself, telling us a little bit about who you are as it relates to a vendor coordinator and your experience at the festival last time you went.
I am Latoya Matthews. My apologies. I was in another meeting and it ran over. So please forgive my tardiness. I am the vendor coordinator, but when I went out to the Fresh Farmers Festival, it was really great. A lot of families were served. They definitely can use more volunteers. So if anyone could come out and to help, the weather is still great. So that's a great thing. But if you have any families as well that that could use and benefit from the fresh market, please send them But it was a really great experience. So absolutely. So the next date will be today and December 13th, right? So I will be sending out a email. I think me and August probably will work on that to kind of put that together. So, but definitely come out, even if it's just to experience what it is. The address, no.
Let me see real quick.
Yeah, it's your TV.
I know, right? The address is. Yep.
Yeah, it's 2 blocks south on Refugee in Hamilton. And the address,
You see at the bottom?
What is it?
3321.
Oh, 3312 South Hamilton Avenue. So again, it's 3312 South Hamilton Avenue. And it's a lot. I was able to take some stuff home too. So
What time is it?
the time is from 4 to 6. Yeah, 4 to 6.
And
Yeah.
vendors are, for example, the center, we would be there talking about healthy weight nutrition.
Yeah, and if you have anything to add to give to families, that'll be great. That way families are aware of what even Nationwide is doing, what CareSource is doing, what any other organization is doing. Yeah, so that's a great way to connect with families as well.
Yeah,
So
probably give away about 10,000 pounds of food away. At
Yeah.
each event. So you're seeing a couple hundred families. So
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity. And Ms. Karen can talk about what we've done at our previous food festivals that she's participated in as a vendor and the value that it brings.
Yeah.
Does anybody here have anything for youth? Any kind of handout, any kind of?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we have the Ohio Rise program, which works with children ages birth to 20 who have been diagnosed with a behavioral issue. So it's a full-on line of care for the families who are working with the children who have behavioral instances. That's with Aetna, yes. Yep. And so, and that's why I'm here, in all honesty, because I wanted to learn more about this program to see how Ohio Rise could benefit, and it could be a mutual partnership between the two. Not to mention, I'd like to see how we can possibly work this into our senior population as well. Many of our senior population, they all live in low income residential housing, whether it's apartment buildings, which most of them are. So we like to see what we can do to try to give them, again, a better quality of life. You know, and if it means bringing them something like this, perfect, or even introducing it to Ohio Rise and their families.
Because part of our, the agricultural aspect, is that, you want it back? Okay.
Yeah, I was going to. We also have our summer youth program, which I probably can get you connected to Miss Wendy, because that'll be a great, they are also looking for volunteer experiences. And so me and Renee work together in our healthy weight and nutrition. And so she connects our families. She's the coordinator for that, and it connects our families to healthy eating. So the fresh market will be a great resource for our families. So, I mean, we're Nationwide Children's Hospital, so we don't have nothing but youth services.
Right.
So if you could specifically, you know, just give me a list, email me, or if anyone else want to email me specifically any resources that you may need. It's Latoya, LATOYIA .Matthews, 2 T's, at nationwidechildrens.org. And then you want to give them your email too, Renee?
Chad, is there a way to get all of our, like, on a contact list?
Actually had.
Great.
And then those that are not in here, you'll get those lists too.
I'm going to go ahead and type my email in the chat. No, I will not. Wait, you know what, Chad? I need you to open up. I don't know how to use your.
Let's get it.
It's right there.
How do we do this?
Chat's right there,
Okay.
but like why, I don't know
But let
why.
me
So
make this
something,
bigger,
yeah, exactly.
yeah.
There's something about,
Here, let me do it like this.
yeah, there you
Actually
go.
go back to Zoom, probably.
There you go. That's it,
All
right?
right, cool.
Okay. But what I'm gonna do is open it up to everyone, Chad.
No, that's great.
So I'll do Latoya first.
You know what? That's about to die.
Spelled Latoya wrong. No, I know. Yeah, I put it was wrong. No, just mine and Latoya's. I don't know everybody's. Why is Miss Karen already bossing me around? Already. Yeah. Really? Really? It sounded super neutral.
Here, let me plug that up. for a
Okay.
moment here, and then we'll make sure we come back to it because I don't want to lose everybody. Yes. Oh, absolutely. Matter of fact, if you want, August, go ahead. Go ahead, because I need to let this charge a little bit. So go ahead.
All right.
And if you don't mind, can you come up here? Well, I'm gonna still have you come up here. Yeah, I love you, August, but we whatever you have to say, we all need to hear. No, it is that important, August. It's you.
Listen,
All right, go do your thing, August. Go do your
Can't
thing.
even see me because of the light, whatever.
See, there you go. You're in business now.
All right. So a couple of these things are coming from OFA. So I don't know who came in late, but Ohio Ecological Food and Farm Association does a variety of things. Actually, all of these are coming from OFA now that I'm thinking about it. The first one is a couple meetings ago, Miss Julia Lynn came up and she was talking about kind of the context of the work that we're doing and like the federal scheme of things, basically. And how one of the big things that's going on in the USDA right now is about the basically reparations for Black farmers who have been, trying to say it nicely, robbed. Yeah, that's a nicer word than I was going to use. Of their loans and of their experiences, all the things. So the USDA is now requesting comment. It's probably one of the most benign things that they could be doing about it, but regardless, they are requesting comments on its section, in case anybody wants to look it up. It's section 22007 of the Inflation Reduction Act. And it's for the payments, repayments for the discrimination. If they can prove that you've been discriminated by the USDA and you're a Black farmer, then they would give you money. Which every time that the USDA has promised to pay Black farmers directly, they have gone back on their word every single time. So yeah, so anyway, once again, they're requesting comments. They're due on Monday, the 14th. So I just wanted to, one, see if anybody was already preparing comments or wanted to. And if there's anything that anybody did want to get across and they wanted someone to funnel it through, like OFA is happy to make comments on your behalf or anything like that. Because one of the things that OFA does is a lot of policy work and advocacy. So we've got people who are adept in speaking that language. So that's one thing. Oh, was it Tim McDermott sent us he sent us an email. There is potential funding for local food distribution. This is not coming from me, so I'm not too sure about it. Maybe Miss Julia Lynn knows a little bit more, but regardless, this is coming from Tim McDermott. He's a OSU Extension educator.
So it's USDA Local Food Purchase Assistance Cooperative Agreement. Basically, if you go into USDA and then AMS, Agricultural Marketing Service, you'll find the grants, the grant requests, call for grant proposals.
Then you go in and find it where?
USDA Agricultural Marketing Service.
I was trying to put it to the chat, but okay, so USDA Agriculture Marketing Service. So it's USDA AMS.
And what is it? What are they actually paying for?
Look, it is to maintain and improve food and agricultural supply chain resiliency. Okay, this is all the COVID issue. and through the purchase of domestic local food. And local and regional farmers and ranchers should be within 400 miles of the delivery destination. So it's promoting buy local, grow local, buy local.
Okay, so that was within
They were
400 square miles, the food would have to be grown and consumed, basically.
So you procure, distribute local regional foods and beverages that are healthy, nutritious, and unique to their geographical area. So the program will meet the needs of the population, serve feeding programs, including food banks, schools, and organizations. So it's also about ensuring that if there are unique foods in the area, rather than buying, corn, or rather than providing rice, we will provide hominy. Okay, because the local population, that's what people traditionally eat. So we've had, and I think that this is really coming out of a number of comments that various ones have made with food that has been distributed through the free produce giveaway that people don't eat. That people in many communities simply don't eat eggplant. I mean, eggplant and kohlrabi rank right up there. And so the answer has been, oh, well, we'll teach them how to eat it. We're like, no, let's actually give them the food they eat. Right. So let's actually give them hominy and not, give eggplant or, and hominy is just corn prepared a different way.
I want to add to that too. I think it was really interesting, the conference that me and Julia Lamb went to, because the feedback that we kind of got was seeing what the community needs and asking the community what they would want, instead of us trying to figure out what they need. And so getting the community in the space, like the Fresh Farmers Market, the food giveaway, and as they come up, like, what foods would you like to see? And that way, whatever foods they would like to see, we can then provide those foods. And so I think that's just a community connection. So we can get better buy-in from families coming, and a greater support of who's going to supply.
Thank
And
you.
the Fresh Life Festival that this coalition supports, we do not pre-prepare and give them a box. The food is out and people come up and we ask them, what do you want? Do you want carrots? They say, no. I say, fine. Do you want? So whatever people want is what we give them, as opposed to pre-packaging it and giving them this, the tossed salad, 2 and 3 of everything. If they want 4 bags of onions, we give them 4 bags of onions. That's fine. Take it. That's what you're gonna eat. Take it.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Well, there's dignity in that as well.
Absolutely.
You're asking people what they're going to eat.
And it's something they can actually work with, as opposed to 2 and 3 of everything, or 1 eggplant, 2 carrots, and 1 head of cabbage.
And that's the reason why we even, all the way down to the name, we don't want to say it's the food giveaway. We want to make sure the community members we're serving, they're us. And so that's why it's a festival. It's a Fresh Life Festival. And, we want to be able to scale that. So when we have local chefs there preparing some of the meals, and sampling some of the food, the vendors are there with free community resources such as yourself. So that's what that is all about. So that's why I think it's very important you all even check it out or support it, because it's a win-win for not only you, but the community and everybody involved.
So would we be okay to invite other vendors along? Because I've got a great connection with Creating Central Ohio Futures, who I think might benefit from benefit the public that go.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, so since you got me up here, I'll put in my 2 cents real quick. So one thing about this local food is, you're talking about this food giveaway. There's always someone coming in saying, we did this study and we found that this place is a food desert because there's no grocery store. And then their solution is to go and give free food. And it's like,
that's not a solution.
If you say there's no grocery store, the solution is a grocery store, not free food. Like, you're just assuming there's no grocery store because they can't afford it. So here's some free food. It's like, no, there's no grocery store, so they can't spend their money on the grocery store. So yeah, it just doesn't make any sense.
At one point, Giant Eagle was working with a local food vendor. I want to say it was Sierra and Sons. I don't know if you're familiar with them or not. They do wholesale distribution, but they were working on a trailer program where it was basically I want to say like an 18-wheeler trailer that they had outfitted to be a mobile grocery store that volunteers would work at. So I'm wondering if even they're still considering that, because that was about a year ago that we had these conversations. And I can see, if you like, I can help bridge that connection.
Please, that would be excellent, because our part of our ecosystem eventually is to have a grocery store in it. Not only for the consumers, but once again, to teach the community how to run their grocery store and the different aspects of that. So yes, that would be great, because where we're doing the Fresh Life Festival, they just closed down Kroger. So it's right there in the area.
I just had that conversation last night.
Yeah, so we definitely need that.
So it is 101. So I'm going to try to be quick because I know we're trying to wrap up. So last thing, since we're still talking about local food, the Ohio Association of Food Banks has a local food action plan grant. I don't know all the details, but basically they have money to pay BIPOC, whatever you want to say, growers to buy their food. So this is the Ohio Association of Food Banks. Right now, they're kind of in the relationship building stage. So this is kind of on the other end of the education. So if you know people who are established and are looking to find more outlets for selling their produce, the Ohio Association of Food Banks might be a good option. Right now, we're kind of just compiling a list of growers. So if you know people, share them with me, basically. Finally, OFA, we have this program. It's called Heartland Farm Beginnings. I can't emphasize this is a really, really good program. It's for people who it's for new farmers, but maybe have like a year or so established or like really looking to get serious into it. It's a year-long course, starts in the spring, like March or something. And you go through like your farm visioning, whole farm planning, like what do you want in your life and how does farming fit into this? You take a break over the summer to farm. Basically, you go back in the fall and you focus on financials, record keeping, and business plan development. So at the end of this year-long course, you walk out with a business plan. And this course is it's FSA borrower certified. So if you take the course, it's kind of like a stamp of approval. It's not approval of a loan, but it's kind of like it's an added benefit whenever you go to the Farm Service Agency and you're trying to get a loan. So if you know anybody who's in that stage of their development, that's.
Could you put your website in the Zoom and then maybe write it on the blackboard?
Yeah,
for us?
sure.
Thank you.
I can do that. That's all from me.
All right, thank you. You ready? I know you gotta go. You gotta go right this.
Hi, August. Sorry.
No, we can come back because we already went over.
All right, people in the room are starting to wrap up here. Is there anything people online wanted to say or announcements they had? Well, if you do, I'll make sure my email gets around / y'all probably been getting emails from me anyway. So yeah, reach out. I got you.
All right, everybody. Just want to thank you all for joining the meeting. You'll get a conversation recap, and I'll reach out to you all individually because I see everybody plays a different role in the ecosystem. So thank you for coming to the meeting. Next meeting will be December 13th. We'll talk about website marketing and partnerships. Have a good day.